And we are live. What's good, Josh? Your man DL saying, how y'all feeling? What's good? What's good? Welcome to I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Happy hump day. I hope everything is going good out there. Um, you're almost to the weekend, y'all. Almost there. So so yeah, y'all, we into this new era, man, with DL Saint. Man. Trying to go hard, trying to just put out as much content as I can, man. Talk about as many different things that I find interesting and things that I want to know about, and I'm hoping you guys want to know as well. So that's what we're doing. And as soon as school is out, as soon as they let the kids out for the summer, I'll be stepping it up to the next level. I have a little bit more freedom, getting out there, just meeting and greeting folks, and trying to set up some interviews, and just trying to see what people are thinking out there. Um, because I really want to know what they are thinking and what like what the pulse of the nation is right now. A lot of talk out there right now with this whole Bud Light thing and Budweiser's under fire, and um, a lot of talk about that. I'm definitely gonna have to bring that up at some point. Probably do a show on it, but I'll put it like this: Budweiser as a company, as a corporation, made a decision to pursue a certain part of the population. And it seems to me that they miscalculated, maybe, possibly. We talked about it a little bit. I'm probably have to talk about it some more. And there are numbers out there that saying that so far Budweiser has lost $3 billion in throughout this whole thing. There's a rumor out there that the VP, the lady that they brought on, the spearheaded this thing, has resigned. I didn't get a chance to follow that up, but we're gonna revisit it. I mean, y'all know me, man. I see the smoke and mirrors, bro. It's just smoke and mirrors where I'm sitting like, I really don't care. Uh, I don't drink beer, especially Bud. Like if I'm out and about and I'm gonna have a beer because I don't feel like really drinking, I just want something in my hand. I'll get an IPA or I'll get a something dark. You know what I mean? I'll get like one of those German dark beers or something like that and just sip on it. Uh, but yeah, I'm not. Doesn't mean nothing to me. But from a business standpoint, it looks like someone made a mistake. Whenever you lose money, especially big chunks of money, somebody made a mistake. Y'all went a direction that didn't work. So I'm just trying to see what Budweiser is going to do to turn that ship around. So, but that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Blackstone. Blackstone. A lot of talk about Blackstone right now, bro. A lot of talk out there. Brother Doug's in the house. What's good, fam? How you feeling? Always a pleasure to see you, bro. You know what I mean? Can't wait to hear your take on some of this stuff. Sister Candace is in the house as well. What's good, love? Always a pleasure to see you. Yes, please hit the like, guys, for the algorithm. If you like it, please hit the like. You know what I mean? Leave some comments. You know what I mean? I would definitely appreciate it. Sister Candace, why is sexuality at the forefront of our conversations? It used to be a private, personal decision that wasn't advertised or commercialized. Facts. Facts. It used to be that way, but it isn't now. And even with this guy, and I'm gonna talk about this later, but like, is this dude just making money? Right? Is he just in character doing a persona, just making money? Because there are numbers out there. They're saying he's somewhere north of 10 million right now. And he's got to deal with Nike, got the money from Budweiser. Like, is dude playing a character? I wonder. You know what I mean? I wonder. And I ain't mad at him if he is, but he has, I guess the word is allegedly he's had some facial reconstruction surgery. So, maybe I could be wrong there. I don't know. Didn't know dude, probably never would have known him. Her. They, them. I don't see, and that's another thing. I'm glad I'm old. I am so glad I'm old because I don't have to worry about pronouns. I'm an old person. You know what I mean? I may not, people say you don't look it, but I am. So I'm old. I don't know. I don't know pronouns. I went to school in the 80s, in the 70s, man. They didn't teach us pronouns, not in school. I learned pronouns through Schoolhouse Rock. And I know I'm getting back on stage, right? I'm getting geared up for stage. I got 5 to 8 minutes of a bit ready to go. about how I learned pronouns and what it means to be old. I can't wait to get on stage and let loose. And that's one of the things I'm going to be doing too moving forward. I'm going to be doing videos and I'm going to be showing you guys how I put my material together. You know what I mean? For those who are interested in how comedians do it. Now, I'm going to show you my technique, like the behind the secret sauce, behind the scenes, what I do. I'm going to be putting those together so y'all can see it. I think I'm going to do that in a Patreon because I want to actually show you guys the premise and the stuff that I come up with, and then show you how I work it on stage because you're gonna see it over and over again, and then you see the finished product. And I want to put that behind some sort of wall because I don't want that to get out, especially when I'm trying to do the bit. You know what I mean? I don't want somebody to see it. Oh, this is funny. Post it somewhere, it goes viral, and now I can't use the bit anymore. It's burned. So I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna set up a Patreon. I was waiting until I got to like 2,000 subscribers, but we're almost at 1,400. Hell, that's close enough for government work, right? So we're gonna do it. Um, is Blackstone owned by BlackRock? No, we're about to get into it, bro. I thought the same thing, and I pulled it up. We're gonna get into it. The answer is no. Sister Candace, with it being so easy to cross gender, I wouldn't be surprised, right? You know what I mean? Facts. You know what I mean? We got brother Dino in the house, man. What's good, Dino? Dinosaur. Meta plugged to an eye-popping loss of about 700 billion in market value because no one can tell Mark. You got it wrong. Facts. You know what? He brought it up. He either built it himself or stole it square and fair from them twin dudes. I don't know the real story behind that, but whatever. He's the dude. And if he doesn't want to listen, that's on him. $700 billion, man. That's like that Meta thing just completely failed. For now, maybe they'll circle back to it, or maybe someone else will pick it up. I don't know. I still think that there's a future in that at some point. VR is definitely going to be the way people want to go. It's the ultimate escape, especially when you're poor. You know what I mean? You can't afford to go to Bora Bora, put on your VR rig, boom, you're there. So we'll see, bro. They don't want to tell me you got it wrong. And shout out to you, man. So let's get into this. Let's bring up the screen. Bam, there it is. So right off rip, brother Doug, right off rip, it says it right there. Blackstone Incorporated, not to be confused with BlackRock Incorporated, an investment management firm. So right off rip, Blackstone is different. Blackstone Incorporated is an American alternative investment management company based in New York City. Blackstone's private equity business has been one of the largest investors in leveraged buyouts in the last 3 decades, while its real estate businesses has actively acquired commercial real estate. Blackstone is also active in credit, infrastructure, hedge funds, insurance, secondaries, and growth equity. As of Q3 2022, the company's total assets under management were approximately $951 billion, almost $1 trillion, y'all, making it the largest alternative investment firm globally. Blackstone was founded in 1985 as a mergers and acquisition firm by Peter G. Peterson and Stephen A. Schwarzman, who had previously worked together at Lehman Brothers. I bet you Lehman Brothers wish these two dudes were still working there. They might still be in business. Y'all know Lehman went out of business, bro. There's something I wanted to jump to. Blackstone was founded in 1985 by those two gentlemen with $400,000 in seed capital. They went from $400,000, right? They went from $400,000 in 1985 to touching almost $1 trillion today, 2023. Wow. Like I said, I bet Lehman wish they were still working with them. Lehman might still be around today if these two dudes were there. Wow. So yeah, man, that is some big numbers. Big numbers. So yeah, man. That's their thing. There's their symbol. They're publicly traded. Financial services is their thing. Their headquarters are in New York. You know what I mean? They're in private equity, alternative investments and management. And here's the thing: they would only work. Apparently, they would only work with the elites, like the real money. They didn't mess with like the average everyday stuff. They only messed with real money. But that might be changing. That may be changing. So I wanted to start there. So now we kind of got an idea of who they are. Kind of like what they do. There's a video I wanted to watch, yo. It's about a 15-minute video. We're gonna watch a good chunk of it. It's a YouTube video that I saw. Stoic Stoic Financial, I think, is the name of the YouTube channel. Let me back out. Let me have a look at it. Stoic Finance. Stoic Finance. Definitely check them out. I just subscribed. Like just just now, I just subscribed. And yeah, like most of his material is kind of, you know, it's not rosy. It's like it seems to me that he's just kind of, this guy's doing his best to get out there what he sees and what he can find. So I was listening to watching it, just kind of came up on my feed. I was kind of watching and I'm listening and I'm like, huh. I wanted to talk about it today. Like, you know what I mean? And that's why we're here. So yeah, check them out on YouTube, Stoic Finance. Like I said, it's definitely a take that I think is needed. And you're gonna get a glimpse of what he's thinking, and then we'll also look at what some of these other folks are thinking. Um, and we're gonna get right into it. So yeah, brother Douglas, like they are not BlackRock, they are Blackstone, and man, they are making money. Well, at least it looked like they made a bunch of money, going from $400,000, 400,000 to almost touching $1 trillion. Wow, that's a lot. So let's get into this, man. I want to check this out. Listen, there's some claims being made in this video that we're going to try our best to fact check as best we can, right? So I just want you guys to check this out. This is gonna be pretty cool.
Blackstone are a financial titan dedicated to swallowing the world whole, and with about $1 trillion worth of assets under their control, they are the largest alternative asset manager the world has ever seen. Now, I could sit here and tell you about their evil doings, how they're monopolizing the residential housing market, and even about their use of child labor, which has recently been exposed, but we all know that Blackstone is immoral. What most of us don't know is that they are also on the brink of collapse, and every day they get closer to that final point where they will fall completely apart. It's almost old news at this point, but Blackstone's flagship investment product, their real estate investment trust or REIT, has been suffering from a slow but steady bank run for 5 months at this point. In November, they had to close their doors to their investors, and when people came asking for their money back, Blackstone just said no. December rolled around, and again they refused to allow their investors to withdraw their capital. January, and there was no change. February, nothing new, and now we know the same has happened during March.
So you can see off rip right now. This particular gentleman is not a fan of Blackstone, and I don't know who Blackstone is. Right? I'm just now really getting into who they are. So we can see off rip, this brother's not a fan. I mean, it's just a big global conglomerate doing their thing. I bet you they got their hands in a little bit of everything. Um, you know, uh, Brother Doug is saying, I bet BlackRock owns a percentage of that company. Probably. I bet you they got their hands in everything. I mean, you don't build up that kind of bread and not touch pretty much everything. You know what I mean? So, but you can see where this guy's coming from. You can hear the music is kind of like that whole sinister thing going on. It is what it is. Um, but listen to what he's talking about. He's talking about the child labor thing. He's talking about the run on their business. Their investors trying to get their money and being told, no, we're gonna look into that too. Um, and a couple other things. But let's continue.
5 straight months, Blackstone investors have been running for the doors, only to find them bolted shut. Now, many people will like to point out how this isn't a bank run because Blackstone isn't technically a bank, or they'll point out how Blackstone have it written into their contracts with their investors that they're allowed to do this and that the investors have no legal recourse. But none of that changes the fact that Blackstone's flagship $100 billion REIT is dropping in value, and investors are trying to get out with everything they've got. And as if that wasn't enough, last month we got news that Blackstone had officially defaulted on their debts. They were due to repay a $562 million bond in early March, and they just failed to make that payment, and now they've defaulted on 2 more pieces of debt. This is debt that they owned on a portfolio of loads of different property, but the slow but steady decline of property prices means this debt is unprofitable, and now Blackstone can't afford to pay it back. They went to the
And he ain't lying about that. Again, we're gonna delve into that. And it also appears that even though they're having trouble paying their debt and they're not allowing a lot of their investors to take their money, again, we're gonna get into the nuance of what that is, and how they're doing it. Again, it's in the contract. They're just exercising clauses in the contract, even though all that's going on. and they're in the real estate business heavy, and we all know interest rates have gone up, and housing prices are starting to come down, and we got inflation issues. Even with all that going on, apparently BlackRock has been able to still raise funds to the tune of $30 billion. So it's a lot. This is why I wanted to talk about it. This is a lot. This stuff is way outside my wheelhouse. I don't know much, but it is what it is. Like, I don't have to know things to be able to put things through
think tank.
the old think tank.
Nothing gets past the old think tank. Nothing.
We can put it past. And full disclosure, I do not invest with Blackstone. At least I don't think I do. I'm not quite sure where all the money is that's in my retirement, but maybe we do have some. I have to actually go and look it up and see where the money is, now that I think about it. But to my knowledge, I'm not invested with those guys. Brother Dino is Blackstone clients asked to pull $4.5 billion from a closely followed real estate fund in March. Yeah, and they've been trying to get money out of other funds as well. Brother Cars in the house. What's good, fam? How you feeling? I bet they do a lot of research. I'm sorry, a lot of reach arounds. It ain't pocket science exactly. It is definitely a bunch of reach arounds popping off. You know what I mean? But we're gonna, let's look into this a little bit, man. Let's see what's going on.
Their bondholders and begged and pleaded for an extension, but their debtors refused, probably not realizing just how bad things had gotten for Blackstone. Now, Blackstone are claiming that there's nothing to worry about, that this debt relates to a small portion of the Sponder portfolio, one of their subsidiary companies, and that they continue to have full confidence in the core Sponder portfolio and its management team. But if this is no big deal, and if Blackstone is totally solvent as they claim, why didn't they just pay the debt off? If $562 million is just pennies to them, why did they default on this debt? These lines just don't add up until you hear the next scandal that I broke in my previous video. Blackstone's CEO and founder Steven Schwartzman was paid out $1.27 billion in 2022 for supposedly generating Blackstone so much in profits. And Blackstone paid out over $5 billion to their other shareholders over 2022 as well. Now, how is it possible that Blackstone
6.2 billion, man, it went out like that, man? And he's about to make a point that I agree with. This seems like stuff I have witnessed before. That's a lot of money going to people, going to shareholders, going to CEOs. You know what I mean? They probably didn't even count all of the other bonuses that went to the people on the suite level and stuff like that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And then, all that money being in real estate. I mean, it's crazy. Brother Don 007's in the house. What's good, fam? I see you. I wonder if they are tied in with SVB. I don't think they're tied in with them, but they were trying to buy parts of Silicon Valley Bank when it all blew up. And they're going to talk about that. But yeah, they were trying to buy parts of their debt. And maybe they were trying to buy those parts because it was their debt that they were trying to get a hold of. That's a possibility, but we're going to see a little bit more here. Rather than vying for SVB assets outright, Blackstone backed a regional bank. Apparently not. Right. They're gonna get into that, man. We're gonna see some more stuff. This is stuff that, like I said, man, the smoke and mirrors out there. Everybody's out there talking about beer and running over Bud Light with steamrollers. But this kind of stuff is going on. This is gonna reach everybody. It's gonna affect everybody.
Blackstone had to lock their doors to stop their investors from leaving in November, and just a couple months after 2022 ended, they defaulted on a $500 million debt if the business is so profitable that they can afford to give out $5 billion in dividends. The answer is sadly corrupt accounting rules, just like how SVB's collapse really came down to corrupt accounting rules. Blackstone is allowed to value their assets however they see fit. If they buy a building for $100 million and they claim a year later it's doubled in value, well then it's worth $200 million, and Blackstone has profited $100 million, and they can give those profits out to their shareholders. And they did this repeatedly over 2022. They continually increased their valuations of their properties right as property prices around the rest of the world started to fall. Now, there are two possibilities here. The first is that Blackstone really is special, that they are the most incredible property investors the world have ever seen, and even as average property prices in New York fell by 6%, Blackstone's picked the right ones and saw their value increase by 5%. Or there's the most likely outcome that Blackstone are simply lying about their valuations, booking false profits, and looting their investors for all the cash they can. Now, this
Eh, I think there's somewhere I think there's somewhere in the middle. They're allowed to do those things. I mean, everyone's doing it. Not, they're not a bank, but they operate, I think, under similar rules. The banks do the same thing. And that's why you hear all these stories of unrealized debt, unrealized losses. That's what's crushing the banks right now. And it's starting to seep into the big banks. You know what I mean? The B of A's, right? It's seeping into Chase. It's seeping into the bigger banks. They're starting to have these issues. So I mean, it's just that funny accounting that they have, and they move this like, well, I have this building. This building is worth $100 million more. Well, no, it's not. You know what I mean? And again, we all know that these prices are coming down. I got all these people coming out here. Everything was going up, but now things are starting to come down with reference to real estate. We all know this. So maybe they are just getting as much money as they can, getting it to their shareholders and into their, CEOs and all that kind of stuff. But they know the storm is coming. This is crazy. Brother Pitney's in the house. What's good, fam? I'm interested to know how Blackstone's private REIT, the REIT, will be affected by the current crisis. And that's what we're talking about. They have unrealized losses as well. I think they're kicking the can down the road, just like the banks. And I think it's all going to come to a head at the same time with everybody. Sister Candace, like, share, subscribe. Yes, please do. Please do. Let's watch a little bit more of this, and we're going to read a couple of articles.
At this point, you have to ask yourself one very simple question. Why have you not heard about this from the mainstream media? Why has the legacy news not been covering this? Why don't they tell you about Blackstone's bank run? Why didn't they tell you about Blackstone's default? Why didn't they tell you about Blackstone paying out their CEO $1.3 billion? Sadly, the answer is very simple. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to see this. They want you to walk around like nothing is happening. You simply cannot trust these media outlets to educate you on what's important, but I do have a solution for you. My 100% free email newsletter, Stoic Markets, where I reveal all.
We'll let it run. I'm thinking about doing, getting that. It's free. I might just get his email. Brother Nidish is in the house. You know what I mean? What's good, fam? Good to see you. So they have this email that he puts out. Everyone's doing emails. I know that the Tates do it. He's doing it. A bunch of people are doing it.
Because the American banking crisis has started, and Blackstone seem more tied up in this ordeal than they'd like you to believe. It began just a few days after Silicon Valley Bank began to collapse, when Steven Schwartzman, the CEO and founder of Blackstone, rushed to the media and assured everyone that everything was all well, that there was no banking crisis and SVB was fine. Of course it wasn't, and Blackstone in the end were even reported to be considering buying out SVB's loan book in an attempt to grow while the other banks collapsed.
And there you go. Someone was asking about that. Brother Don 007, like, there you go. They were trying to make moves. These guys, Blackstone, weren't the only ones coming out saying everything is fine. All of the feds were coming out. You know what I mean? You had, the Federal Reserve was coming out. Treasury was coming out. Everyone was saying, no, it's fine. There's nothing to see here, right? We saw that back in 08 too, when the housing bubble burst. And we saw that, right? When they came out, said everything is fine, it was on TV, right? It was everywhere. Same thing happened with this thing. So, like I'm telling you, it's crazy. And Miss Globe Girls in the house, was good, my favorite sailor. And thank you for fact checking, because I didn't get a chance to look. She's like, FYI, Blackstone is included in the C fund with TSP. Up there it is. I had Blackstone at one point, and I got out of the C fund, but yeah, I had it. I had it. Thanks, sis. I appreciate that. Let's get back to it.
This would have been no small feat, as their loan book was valued at around $74 billion, so the fact they were even considering this tells us they were involved to at least some degree. A couple weeks passed, and Schwartzman then comes out with more statements trying to defend the entire banking sector, and he literally said the banking system is not in any type of conventional crisis. Now, I don't know about you, but I would absolutely consider multiple bank runs and multiple bank collapses after hundreds of billions of dollars of paper losses a conventional crisis.
He's absolutely right about that, y'all. I mean, think about it. It was, Silicon Valley Bank, it was Signature Bank, and then they went under. Also, it was Silvergate Bank was the one who actually started that. So that's three big banks, regional banks, but they're, major in the system, especially Silicon Valley and Signature Bank. And then you had First Republic with some big trouble. And then First Citizen had some issues. And then there was Credit Suisse over across the pond. So you had Credit Suisse that had some issues. And I think, Brother Dino, who else was having trouble over there? Was it Deutsche? You know what I mean? So you had Credit Suisse, you had Deutsche. So you got other banks, you know what I mean? This is a thing. This was a thing. You know what I mean? So that's crazy. Brother Don 007. Yep, my tinfoil hat is extra tight when they say it's fine. Exactly. It's really time to worry. Exactly. That's when you put your tin strap on, your tinfoil hat, like, oh, everything's fine. Oh my goodness. It's pandelirium. That's when I start thinking, like, oh my, it's pandelirium. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jeff Foxworthy. That was like one of his bits from way back in the day. I don't, y'all young, y'all probably don't remember that, but the old heads know what I'm talking about. But yeah, everyone rushed out to say it's not a problem, but it was a problem. And then they rushed out. Oh, it wasn't. The federal government's not going to bail them out. We're going to do a backstop. Oh, okay, a backstop. Oh, okay, the same thing. So yeah, we're in a financial crisis right now, but no one reports it as such. So he's definitely onto something there. Shout out to this dude, Stoic Finances.
But he goes on to elaborate and states that this was actually a technological crisis. This crisis was caused by people on iPhones and other devices hearing on social media that some bank might be in trouble. Now, this sounds like it might be valid, but this isn't a gotcha to those screaming collapse, because this is what bank runs have always been. People running for the doors and panicking. iPhones have just sped the process up. But it actually starts to get weirder, because next we see JP Morgan try to prop up Blackstone. You heard me right,
JP Morgan. When I was watching this thing, the music is all sinister and everything, but I'm listening and I'm like, dude, these are big players. They're all doing the same thing, man. They're all doing the same thing. You know what I mean? And look at Brother Doug's in there, saying hi to Miss AKA. Sorry, Miss AKA lady. Saying hi to Miss Globe Girl. I see you, bro.
Holla, 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 holla. Let me holler at you. 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 Let me holler.
And I didn't get like, I'm just being friendly. I don't know. And I'm just picking on Brother Doug because he was picking on me the other day, saying that me and Suzette Speaks were offline for the same period of time. I'm like, oh, come on, bro. You know what I mean? So there, right back at you. But I love it when y'all mess with me, by the way. Y'all keep messing with me. And trust me, I don't forget. And trust me when I say, everybody who mess with me, I'm going to make sure I do a show somewhere near you, get you into the club and put you right in the front row. And that's where I'll get my revenge right there. So y'all keep it up. Y'all keep messing with me if you want to. I'm going to get you back. I'm going to get you back in person. I'm going to turn the whole club on you. But don't worry about it. I'll break it down and then I'll send you some drinks and make it all good. We'll be friends again. And then Brother Doug, like, Miss Globe Girl ain't thinking about me. Yeah, but you're thinking about her. Holla, 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 holla. You know what I mean? You ain't ready for that. You ain't ready for that Navy, man. She'll beat you up, bro. But she does have her name on her. But just saying. Brother Carr's car. I am curious how Chat GPT evolution will cause a stock market crisis through predictability. I don't know. I am too. I mean, as AI gets better, I mean, does it actually take the guessing out? That's a good point, bro. As AI and technology gets better, is there any more guesswork in the stock market? And if there's no more guesswork in the stock market, is it worth playing the stock market? I don't know how that works. I mean, I guess even AI can't tell you exactly. There's always going to be room for error. But that is a good point, bro. If I could really predict that, it's really a good point. Brother Doug, like, noted, sit in the back at any DL Saint stand-ups. Don't matter, bro. I'll come to you. We got wireless wireless mics. Can't get away from it. You can't escape. You can't escape. And I'll have all of the bouncers escort you to the front anyway. So you might as well just come on up here and sit in the front, bro, and just take your medicine, cuz. That's all you got to do, cousin. Come on up here and take your medicine. It ain't going to hurt that much. You know what I mean? Brother Jason's in the house, man. What's good, fam? How you feeling? Always a pleasure to see you. That's right. Get some. When I come up there to Detroit, I'm gonna have to have my vest on, man. Y'all crazy up there, bro. If I come up there to perform in Detroit and putting my vest on, I'm telling you right now. And I'm a Bengals fan. Oh, it's gonna be rough. But let's get back to the video.
Morgan. But back in November, Blackstone's bank run began as the institution saw its investors flee by the door as they had to lock everything shut, as we've already established. And this was bad news to anyone with even a single brain cell, but JP Morgan decided it wasn't even worth commenting on. In fact, JP Morgan in November just pretended this didn't happen at all, and they decided to declare that Blackstone was their top pick for financials in sight of a potential Fed pivot. An odd position to take considering how just weeks prior Blackstone's own investors were screaming and crying to get their money back, but JP Morgan held firm, and come January, they reiterated that exact same point, claiming that Blackstone is the best in its class and that we should all go buy Blackstone stock and give them our money. Now, had
that right there, bro, that's troublesome. That's troublesome. It's like they're all in bed together, and they are all in bed together. And again, people fall for the smoke and mirrors, bro. They fall for this stuff just like a blind roofer. You know what I'm saying? Just out there, just falling right off. Ah! And how are they falling off? Because we get caught up in the smoke and mirrors. Oh, Trump got indicted. Oh, there's a trans on a beer can. You know what I mean? It's all this smoke and mirrors. Meanwhile, if you're living in Florida, we're in the midst of an insurance crisis. If you're a homeowner, right? There are no insurance companies down here. They're all leaving. The last insurance company is propped up by the state, and the state doesn't have enough money. Right? We're going to be talking about that too. It's crazy. But everybody wants to talk about all this other crazy stuff, man. I'm telling you, man, we gotta think it through, y'all. We gotta think it through. Let's continue.
Blackstone's bank run been a one-off, you might say fair enough, but Blackstone has had to halt their withdrawals every single month since November, including December and January, which means JP Morgan have witnessed this situation continue to get worse, and they have continued to ignore it. But then we have the inconvenient truth that Blackstone just defaulted on one of their debts worth over $500 million as already established, and still JP Morgan are holding firm, claiming all is well and that Blackstone is actually the best firm around. It's simple to see that this just doesn't make sense, and JP Morgan are clearly trying to ignore the problems Blackstone are seeing, and what makes this so much weirder is that JP Morgan spent the last few months doing the exact same thing at the exact same time with Silicon Valley Bank right before it collapsed.
How deep is JP Morgan Chase in to Blackstone that they're doing this? I don't get the play. What's the play, y'all? Why are they doing it? I mean, have they invested so much that they're in so deep that they're like, bro, we gotta help them raise capital. We gotta help them, calm their investors. We gotta, because it sounds like they're doing everything but pumping in money. You know what I mean? So I don't know, guys. Why do you think that is? Let's get in. Let's keep going.
Document here shows JP Morgan's research determining that SVB is a brilliant business, a brilliant bank, and a brilliant investment that's going to make all their clients rich. Now, I'll save you the trouble of reading it all, but the important bits are that JP Morgan claimed the causes of SVB's collapse were actually good things. This section here states how the tightening monetary environment means startups are going to struggle and run out of cash, and that will force them to raise more money, which means larger deposits for SVB. Of course, that actually turned out to be the total complete opposite, but that didn't stop JP Morgan from lying to their investors. They tried to drive capital into SVB prior to its collapse, claiming it was actually a business worth $375 per share, while today it sits at 99.9% lower than that at less than $1 per share.
$1 a share. And look at that. That came out November 15th of 2022. When Chase did that. Chase had to know that the bank was in trouble. They had to know it. They had to know it. This is the thing with receipts, y'all. We see the information right there. And again, I've pulled up some articles because obviously Brother Stoic here is not a fan of big business, these guys, which I get why. I get it. I ain't mad at him. I'm glad he did this video. Thank you so much, bro. Yeah, I definitely like this one. I subscribe to his channel, and I suggest y'all do the same. He has a lot of stuff out there, but all this stuff can be easily verified with some quick Google searches. Brother Doug is saying that looks like JP Morgan, talking about JP Morgan, like, why are they doing this? And he said they're trying to keep the confidence of their investors. That makes sense. People are already panicking. Yes, and the news isn't covering that. People are already panicking, right? But we'd much rather talk about the homeless situation, which is a bad situation, but it's not as bad as this.
Share. At this, we have to ask a very simple question. Why did JP Morgan try to convince the world that SVB was the best bank around right before they collapsed?
Yes.
And why are they claiming the same line regarding Blackstone while conveniently ignoring every single one of their
Tell us.
problems?
I want to know.
It should be abundantly clear that you cannot trust these banks, and the fact that legacy media institutions are allowing this fraud to go unchallenged means you can't trust them either. Every single thing that we've looked at here today is public knowledge and should be easily accessible for any willing journalist wanting to expose the truth, yet all the mainstream outlets remain eerily silent. Even YouTube is making active efforts to disrupt this flow of information. Over a month ago now, I created a video exposing a secret hedge fund that exists to predict black swan crashes and what they're expecting next, and YouTube has had the video demonetized, age restricted, and shadow banned twice without any infractions on their content policies, forcing me to take the video private. Now, thankfully, I still have my email.
Yeah, he ain't lying about that. The stuff I was doing about Clarence Thomas, when I do a lot of the political stuff, yeah, it's restricted on monetization. It's not pushed as hard. I mean, you know, it's the algorithm. I'm new. I don't know. It is what it is, but I am noticing that type of content. Even if I do a show, there's no swearing, no nothing, no weird conversations. Still, it's you know, it's definitely restricted in monetization. But he's right. He's definitely right when we talk about these things. Let me stop the share. Here's the thing, like what he was saying, because he went in right into another pitch for his free email, which I'm gonna sign up for. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna sign up for his email. I'm gonna be reading that stuff. But he mentioned some things that, you know, all right, yeah, why isn't mainstream media talking about this kind of stuff? So I went in there. I went in to kind of look at a couple things, you know what I mean? Just, you know, just setting up for this. It's not like I went a deep dive or anything like that. Just typed into Google and looked at some stuff, right? And let's see what I came up with. So this is Yahoo News. In this article, let's see, Blackstone's BREIT record records its biggest advance in 6 months, right? This is March 14th of this year. And it goes on to talk about the Blackstone Fund, Blackstone Real Estate Income Trust, for Blackstone Incorporated Fund for affluent individual investors. They only mess with, at the time, they were only messing with like big money, real money. Reported its biggest monthly total return in 6 months as February's dividend payments and rising rents offset a decline in property valuations, right? So this is reference to the 600, what was it, 600 billion, no, $600 million. Yeah, I think it was whatever that was. No, it was $600 billion that went out to the shareholders, right? It was 1 point something billion to the CEO, and it was 5 billion that went to the shareholders. So they're talking about that. Which, okay, dude, all right, looks like dude was telling the truth. The REIT's lowest fee share class had a total return of 0.7%. So it just goes into the 12-month returns and all that kind of stuff. Growth slowed last year as rising interest rates undercut real estate values, and the tide of investor inflows reversed into a torrent of redemption requests. So this is basically people wanted their money back, right? The REITs restricted withdrawals from the 4-month through February as redemption demands exceeded monthly and quarterly limits, right? So when they said they didn't let people take them out, I think it was like they only let them take out a certain percent. They wouldn't let them take all their money out. And again, that was per contract, but dude was a line. They would not let these people take their money out. They restricted withdrawals for the 4 months through February. So they gave out all that money and they wouldn't let the investors take their money. In addition to higher income for the rent and steady dividends, BREIT's February returns benefited from hedging positions that added value as interest rates rose. Commercial real estate prices fell 1.4% across the asset classes in February and are down 15% in the trailing 12 months, according to Green Street. So like dude said, everything was down, but they're still paying out money and saying they're making big bread. And then they just continue to raise money and they're going hard. They double down. So it was a part in here. Yeah, breach net asset value decreased to 70.5 billion after investors withdrew 1.4 billion last month. Right. So that was February, because this article came out in March of this year. The net asset value included an initial $4 billion committed by the University of California in January, but not a $500 million follow-up investment from the university. So dude wasn't lying, yo. Like dude's like, yo, they making all this bread, right? They're making all this bread. They're paying out money, but there seems to be trouble, right? There's some things going on. There's some things going on, man. Like it's crazy. You see, Brother Doug, YouTube is weird. They pick and choose which channels can discuss political topics. Facts, bro. I'm noticing that, man. Brother Don, these banks are like a shield wall. If one of them falls, then they all get exposed, so they die with the lie. Yeah, man. Yeah, they die with the lie, and they got to toe that line, bro. And Brother Brittany, the overwhelming majority of the redemption requests came from an Asian investors that were facing liquidity issues in their own countries. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. So China was having some trouble or whatever, so they needed to get their money out. Okay, but that just kind of added to the problem, because no one probably saw that coming. So they had to stop or do their best to keep that money from flowing out. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Cut an artery, you got to stop the bleeding. You know what I mean? It's going to be a problem. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, bro. Appreciate that. So we can see the dude wasn't lying, right? We can see that, man. So I want to get back to the video, because they talked about some other stuff that, that we definitely looked up as well. So away we go.
Newsletter, and in exactly 7 days I'm going to send that video out to all of you so that you can see what YouTube doesn't want you to. This is the only platform that I can ensure remains 100% censorship free, funnily enough. No matter what YouTube or CNN or any other media platform tries to do, they can't stop me from sending you.
And he has a point, though. I mean, there are people out here trying to stop certain information from getting out there.
Quick markets. It is one click away to sign up. It's 2 to 3 emails a week explaining all that the mainstream media wants you to miss.
And he's not
you
charging
can always
for
unsubscribe instantly if you want to later. So make sure to check out the link down below for Stoic Markets if you want to stay informed. But as for Blackstone, it seems they are losing confidence in their business model, and they just might be starting to panic. Over the last month or so, Blackstone first announced an attempt to raise a further $10 billion for what they call tactical opportunities, the idea being that they can buy up depressed assets while prices are in the depths during the coming recession.
And they went on to raise 30 billion. We're going to talk about that later. There's another YouTuber that's out there talking about this very thing.
But this raises the question, what if they're just trying to raise capital to keep themselves liquid and to stop them becoming the tactical opportunity for a better placed firm? And in another unexpected move, Blackstone announced that they are pushing for non-institutional investors for the first time ever. The company has always focused on the big fish, the hedge funds, pension funds, governments, and billion-dollar businesses, but now they're throwing their entire playbook out the window by targeting individuals instead of institutions. Again, this could be a non-story, but when taken along with everything else that's going on with Blackstone, this is totally out of character. This screams of a business desperate to raise capital from anywhere they can, because if they don't, there will emerge massive problems. And
I ain't gonna lie, like I get where dude's coming from with that. You know, since 1985, you've only messed with the cream of the crop, big money people, Daddy Warbucks and his crew. Now, all of a sudden, you ready to take anybody's money. Why? Brother Brittany is right. I mean, okay, we got these people taking out their money. We got these big organizations pulling their money for whatever reason. You know what I mean? They need cash. They want to sit on cash for opportunities or whatever. So they're taking their money out. You know what I mean? Even Blackstone understands that they can't keep the people's money forever. Like, there's only limits. So if the limit is 2% a month, then they're gonna take out 2% of their investment every month or whatever the limit is. I forget what the limit is. They're going to keep taking that money out. So like we need to replenish that bread. The elites aren't messing with us like that. So let's open it up to everybody. That is a thing, bro. That had me scratching my head like, maybe there's something going on. Let's continue.
While JP Morgan keep trying to channel money their way and into Blackstone, other banks are doing the opposite, with Barclays downgrading Blackstone after they repeatedly blocked their investor withdrawals, and with the firm officially defaulting on their debt. Who knows which other banks will now follow suit next? And of course,
so JP Morgan Chase is backing you, you're in trouble. That's what it sounds like to me. That's crazy because Barclays was like, no, we're going to downgrade you. Wow, that's huge.
This all comes back to the fact that Blackstone has made huge profits from its real estate investments over recent decades, and now the real estate market is falling apart, leading to independent news sites like this one speaking out about Blackstone's failure to repay their debt and what it claims is a larger mortgage default crisis. Blackstone used to have more money than they knew what to do with, which is how they bought up over $120 billion worth of real estate over the matter of just a few years. And now, over the course of a few months, it's all come to a grinding halt. And now they're selling properties instead of buying them, like one of their flagship properties in London worth £395 million.
It doesn't scare me that much that they're selling properties, especially big properties, right? That doesn't scare me as much. But when you look at all the other things, it makes you look at it kind of sideways, like, okay, maybe they are in some trouble. It's one thing to sell something because that was your plan. That was the business strategy. It's quite another to sell. You selling off assets because you need the cash and because you're having problems, you might be going under. So it's like, which one is it? You know what I mean? Which one is it? And they are heavy into the single family home market here in America. So heavy, in fact, that there were a lot of places in Florida, I know for a fact, now I want to say in Texas, where they were trying to buy complete developments. So people keep saying like there are no homes available. A big part of that is these corporations and hedge funds are going out there, and private equity money is going out there and buying single family homes. Patrick Bet-David was talking about this a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. So you couldn't go out and get you a starter home because you were competing against these hedge funds, and they were paying 20, 30, 40% over market. That's where all of the market rates went up on all the properties. That's why no one can afford a home in America. You know what I mean? Because you come out here, you come somewhere like, Florida, to the central Florida area, and, you get here and then there are properties out here going for, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Well, 24 months prior, those same properties were going for $175,000, $250,000. That was because private equity was just spending the money. They didn't care. Now they care, especially with this adjustment in rates. Now they care. Because all these loans, all the money they took to buy these homes, those loans are going to adjust. So they're going to go from, like the 1%, maybe 2.1% interest that they're paying on these loans to 8%, 9.5%, 9%. I'm sorry, like maybe 8.5, you know what I mean? Maybe 9% on the same loans. That's going to destroy whatever capital you had in reserve. So there's some problems going on here. That's the big problem with the banks right now. So, man, again, what do I know? I'm just an old man sitting in the attic, man, talking to his computer.
And the craziest thing about all this is that this video is literally the opposite of clickbait, as their failure to repay debts is worse than I originally made out. Yes, Blackstone have actually defaulted on their $562 million bond based on Finnish and European offices, but they've also been forced to enter special servicing of two other massive bonds, which means they couldn't abide by the original repayment terms. How big are these two other bonds? Well, one is based on New York apartments and is worth $270 million, and the other is based in Las Vegas and is worth $325 million, meaning Blackstone is experiencing a mortgage crisis as we speak that is already larger than $1 billion, and it's just getting started. And
Now, I couldn't find anything on that in mainstream media. There was plenty in independent media, but I couldn't find that in mainstream media. So that kind of, again, another head scratcher. I'm like, well, shit. Oops, I said a bad word. But I was like, well, wait a minute. That's a big story. If Blackstone is in that kind of trouble, that's a huge story. But then you tie it back to JP Morgan. and their people. Hey, let's suppress this. Let's keep this out of the news here in the States. Right? Barclays, downgrading Blackstone. I didn't hear about that either. You would think that would be a pretty big story. I'm pretty sure CNBC covered it, Fox News probably covered it, but it was like really quick. They didn't stay on it. And again, hey man, smoke and mirrors, y'all. This is some crazy stuff. So, it's some crazy, Brother Pitney. The overwhelming majority of the redemption requests came from Asia. Oh yeah, so we read that. Brother Dino, so the Chinese have to pay their mortgages before their property is built. Right, that's their biggest problem right there. Because that's a whole nother episode. Some are holding back payments, causing upstream cash flow problems. Yeah, they're holding back payments, and the Chinese Communist Party is taking that money right out of their banks, right out of their accounts. They have bought and paid for properties that haven't been built, and in some cases won't be built. Could you imagine that happening in America? You buy and pay for a house. Let's say you spend $200,000 on a condo, and they never build a condo, but they got your money. And if they're threatening you because you're not paying on the mortgage for a house that doesn't exist and you can't even move into it, that's what's going on in China. So, people talk about China like, bro, they got their own problems. You know what I mean? But Brother Dino's absolutely right. Brother Pitney, selling properties is a major issue for their Brit offering because it sacrifices long-term cash flow to meet short-term obligations. If done for too long, they'll start to operate in the red, and that's what destroyed Silicon Valley and Signature Bank right there. Also, Silvergate Bank. Those banks, that's exactly what destroyed those banks. That right there. Perfect right there, brother. Perfect right there. Brother Doug, mainstream media is now unreliable. Majority of the news networks are shared by the same owners, and most of these large corporations have sizable shares in the media companies. So they have some control of stories covered by mainstream media. Facts, and we can see that. We can see that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's like the 1% is operating behind the curtain, but there's kind of cracks in the curtains. We can kind of see that they're moving back there. They're moving the stuff. We can kind of see it. They got people up there trying to shut the curtains again. This is big. This is big, and I can't. I'm really stuck. We're not hearing about this on at least MSNBC. You would think they would come out because this is like, the evil 1%. But even they won't come out. Why? Because they're bought and paid for.
If they can't repay these loans, I guarantee there are more out there that they won't be able to repay either, because they're in over $50 billion of debt. And when these maturity dates come through, when Blackstone is expected to pay the principal back, that is when all hell will break loose. And to top it all off, Blackstone is getting more and more heat from ordinary people every day.
And he ain't lying about that part right there. And it's not just Blackstone. Blackstone is probably one of the couple of Goliaths that are in that room, but all of commercial real estate is on the brink right now. They're all sitting there waiting for the axe to fall, so to speak, because they're locked into their businesses, their loans. They're locked in at a really low rate, 2%, 2 point something percent. And that's why they were screaming at the Fed and Jerome Powell, quit raising the rates so fast. This is why they were screaming. It's going to mess something up. Right? George Gammon talked about this 2 years ago. It's like the Fed is going to raise rates until something breaks. Well, what did they break? They broke the commercial real estate sector. And there's no way to fix it. And there are rumors that, Jerome Powell is going to start to lower the rates. You know what I mean? Way sooner than anticipated. Why? Because they're like, oh, we screwed up. Let's lower the rates. But it's not going to help. This is it. It's like in air traffic control. Sometimes in air traffic, you would make a move. You would do something that's going to lead to what we used to call an error. Like, I'm about to have an error. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Because once those words came out your mouth and you let the microphone go and that pilot started rolling, and it's like, in a minute and a half, we're going to have an error. There's nothing I can do to stop it. And we just sit there and wait. And there it is. That's what it is right now. I think that's what's going on with this. These people are locked in here. The rates are up. There's no way they're going to be able to reset at the same rate that they have. The rates have gone up and the property value has gone down. There is no fix for this. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And you got people like Blackstone being the big ones, but even the middle ground guys and the starter guys, the people out here with their little properties, they're all going to get hit hard, and people are just going to be throwing the keys back at the banks. Here you go. I can't afford this building anymore. The tenants, the people within your building, if they do have employees there, they're not going to cover the difference. They were already paying $3,000 a month in the lease. And now you're like, you need to pay $10,000. They're like, no, I'm not going to pay $10,000. As a matter of fact, I'm only going to pay you $1,500. Right? Take it or leave it. If you don't want it, I'll get out the building. So that's the problem. This thing is gone. It's like it's the point of no return. You know what I mean? Like I say, like once you open Pandora's box, once you open it, it ain't no putting it back in. You can't get the stuff back in there. The genie's out the bottle. So it is going to be crazy. Brother Doug, thanks for putting me on to George Gammon. Hey, you're welcome, man. I like that dude, bro. I can't wait to meet him. I hope to meet him this year. And of course, I'll be, exercising my network through Myron and Fresh, man. Shout out to Myron and Fresh. Shout out to Fresh and Fit, bro. I'm telling you, they are plugged into so many people, especially Fresh. They're plugged into so many people like that. Like I'm always like, I get that dude a hand. Like, yo, Fresh, his networking skills are perfect, damn near perfect. He networks as well as I do. You know what I mean? So, Game Peep Game, shout out to them. I look forward to meeting, Gammon. And there's a bunch of other people down there I can't wait to meet. I have other folks. I don't get all of my Miami connections come through Fresh and Fit. I had people before them, you know what I mean? So I know folks. But yeah, man, George Gammon is the man. Rebel Capitalist. Check him out on YouTube, guys. He is straight up self-made dude. No nonsense kind of guy. He doesn't give you any fluff. He's giving you the real. You know what I mean? And if you can't handle it, I suggest you stick with MSNBC or Fox Business or something like that. But let's continue with the video.
Came under huge amounts of fire after it emerged they were using their billions in capital to buy up entire single-family home neighborhoods, pricing out normal people have ever been able to buy a house. And they were doing this all over the world in countries that you probably didn't even know they operated in. And eventually this evolved to the point where the entire business model had to be dropped because the backlash was just so great. Of course, they're still doing it where the public backlash isn't so great like in the UK, so it's clear this isn't a problem with the investment thesis, rather just with the optics. Now, the most recent scandal Blackstone is facing, well, it turns out that their portfolio companies have been exploiting child labor, and it isn't like Blackstone can claim ignorance or claim that this is just the nature of some poorer countries around the world, because this didn't happen in China or sub-Saharan Africa. It happened in the United States. It happened in Wisconsin. The fact that a $1 trillion American institution utilizing child labor in the United States isn't front page news all over the country should alone be a scandal big enough to shake the entire world. But the interests of institutions like Blackstone are just so great that the media does as they're told.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. When I saw this, I thought dude was capping. I'm like, maybe he's, stretching the truth a wee bit here. Maybe he's talking about something. Bro, we're about to get into it right now. And he goes on to talk about, again, his newsletter. But we're about to get into it right now, bro. Where is it? It's right here. Let me move this over here. I'm gonna pull this up, guys, and I'm like Brother Doug. Brother's like, whoa, like listen, and I did not hear. Listen, y'all know I watch news. Y'all know I watch the news, right? You know what I mean? I ain't afraid to watch the news. I watch the news, and man, this story right here, he's not lying, bro. This was February 2023. February 2023. Right? A company that the Labor Department says used more than 100 children to clean slaughterhouses hired the same child twice under different names, an internal company document shows. Right? This is NBC News. A June 2021 disciplinary report reviewed by NBC News shows that Packers Sanitation Services Incorporated disciplined an employee who hired the same known minor twice in 6 months under 2 different identities. The employee who did the hiring was demoted and suspended for 3 days and required to undergo a hiring policy review, according to the document. The fact that this dude didn't get fired lets you know what time it is. He was doing what he was hired to do. The employee did not respond to a request for comment. The PSSI spokesperson, Gina Swinson, said the employee has been on leave for personal reasons and is not currently actively working for the company. Paid leave, y'all. Paid leave. They're protecting this person. Why? Because they were doing exactly what they were hired to do. Wisconsin-based PSSI, which is owned by the investment management company Blackstone, was cited by the U.S. Labor Department on Friday for systemic child labor violations that indicated a corporate-wide failure stretching across 13 locations in 8 states. We're talking about the United States of America. Here's a picture of one of the employees right here, y'all. I mean, that's one of the employees right there. Right? A photo taken by a Labor Department investigator shows a child who worked for Packers Sanitation Services Incorporated cleaning a slaughterhouse in Grand Island, Nebraska. Ain't nobody playing, bro. I mean, I cannot believe this was not headline news across America, bro. The Department of Homeland Security Investigation Division continues to investigate whether the children, largely undocumented migrants, were part of a human trafficking scheme. DSS officials said PSSI is not a target of the investigation and has not been accused of wrongdoing by DHS. Sounds like they should. You hired the same kid twice in the same facility, just gave him a different name. Come on now. And this is the kind of stuff that Myron Gaines talks about this when he was working for the feds. This is the kind of stuff that he would investigate. I think I'm going to send this to him. I'm going to send this to him to see if this would be something he want to put on FedEx. A former manager for PSSI who asked that NBC News not disclose their identities said seeing children working for the company made them sick. They said that they were not surprised by the Labor Department's findings. They were surprised only that it took the Labor Department so long to discover the underage workers. There are things happening in this plant that adults aren't comfortable seeing, they said. You can't walk through the plant without getting animal parts on you or blood all over you. I can only imagine the conditions inside of that slaughterhouse. I have a cousin who works in the slaughterhouse. He's done that for over 30 years. And he tells me the sort of things that they would do. They slaughter hogs. And he was just telling me the way it works and how they do it. And just, he was being very, very graphic. This was, God, we must have had this talk, man, probably well over 20 years ago. And I couldn't fathom it. I wouldn't want to see that. You'd be surprised what you can adjust to as an adult. But it's going to be hard to fill those positions. No one's going to want to do that. That's just, it's carnage. And I understand his food. I have an uncle who used to be he was a butcher for like over 30 years for Kroger. This was back when I was living in Cincinnati. And he handled food. He handled meats. And he became a vegetarian long before the whole vegan and all this kind of stuff. This was back in the 70s. We'll go over his house, man. There was no meat. It was vegetarian. He was like, I can't. And he would tell me about the chemicals and all that to this day. So I could not imagine working under those conditions as a grown-up, let alone a child, bro. A child. Shannon Rowe Belindo, a 17-year-old veteran of the Labor Department who led the investigation into PSSI's use of child labor, said that she had never seen child labor violations to this extent and that the employees in the Grand Island, Nebraska plant tried to hide evidence by deleting digital messages during the investigation. So they were trying to cover stuff up and no one got locked up. Just the sheer number of kids that were working. I've never had an employer or their representatives impede my investigation like this just so brazenly. In a statement, PSSI said the company cooperated with the Labor Department investigation. No, y'all didn't. PSSI cooperated with the DOL's inquiry, contrary to any false assertions to the contrary, including facilitating multiple site visits, employee interviews, and producing more than 100 million pages of documents, and successfully shares DOL, Department of Labor's objectives of ensuring no one under 18 works for PSSI. The PSSI spokesperson said, we also terminated 2 local managers cited in the Department of Labor's filings as allegedly impeding their investigation, further illustrating that comment. So 100 million pages of documents. A lot of people use that as a tactic. Oh, you want some documents? Yeah, I just need documents from this month, about this from June to October. If you can give me those. And what they do is they send you 100 million pages. We want to make sure we got you everything. Now it's an attempt to bury the information that you're looking for right under your nose. They knew exactly what they were doing. And then they said, oh, we fired a couple people. Probably some people who just got hired and didn't know what was going on. In a statement, Blackstone said, we are pleased that PSSI has resolved this matter with the Department of Labor. PSSI has an absolute zero tolerance policy against employing anyone under the age of 18 and is fully committed to ensuring it is enforced at all local plants. PSSI has continued to enhance its already extensive procedures to prevent identity theft, including recent steps to conduct multiple additional audits and training and further hire third-party compliance experts. Word. That's what y'all doing. But y'all got kids in there. They can't even fit into the protective clothing. Come on, man. Like let me pin this into the chat. Y'all can go in, y'all can check this out for yourself. Like this is just crazy. This is just crazy, y'all. So there it is right there. If y'all want to check it out. Man. And you got these poor young kids that's coming over trying to make a better life. Their family brings them over here. The mom and dad is probably mom or dad, if not both, are working in the plant, and they find out a way to get the kid in there so they can all just make some money. This is why we got to shore up our immigration policies, y'all. This is why we got to do it. If we had a policy that allowed people to migrate here from places like Mexico, right, from Guatemala, from wherever, from Nicaragua, if they could come here legally, they have a path to citizenship because they got the job. They say, hey, we got the job. They hired us. Dad could work there and take care of the family. We wouldn't need mom and the kids to be working in there with him. He wouldn't make enough money and he would get a livable wage and he would get the insurance. Come on, y'all. Like this is crazy. This is crazy. But yeah, I'm just sitting here shaking my head, man. I can't believe it. You know what I mean? Doug is saying he's on his way to going plant-based. As I get older, I think I'm gonna transition into more like I'll be more vegetarian or pescatarian. I'm gonna eat more fish and vegetables as I get older. But I doubt if I ever go plant-based. I doubt if I ever will. William Stewart's in the house. What I miss? Anyone got sent to Tahoe besides the Cash App guys? Yo, man. No, not yet, bro. But welcome, Brother Williams. And he's like, man, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska now. Sheesh, yeah, bro. They're doing some craziness, man. That story, like I said, I posted the story in the chat, man. You guys can check that out. I just wanted to start reading because I was getting mad. And you got these, but that company is owned by Blackstone. I don't know if I was calling it BlackRock when I was reading it by accident. And if I was, that's Brother Doug's fault because he put BlackRock in my head. Blackstone owns that company. You know what I mean? And Brother Williams like, yeah, you can smell the cover up. Come on now. They got caught. And it's how much money did that save them in labor costs, man, hiring kids to come in there and do that stuff, bro? How much money did that labor cost was saved? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That is so crazy, y'all. So yeah, and just for the record, in case I was misreading or whatever, that's Blackstone owns PSSI. Blackstone owns that. And they were hiring children right here in America in multiple states, working in factories, working in slaughterhouses. And that's what old boy said. So you see he wasn't lying. You know what I mean? He was not lying. We got to go back and finish that video. We got to go back and finish that video because he's pitching his he was pitching the newsletter, the free email, which again I'm going to sign up for that, y'all. I'm going to sign up for that. But I want to let's finish up that video and we're going to close out because wow. That's all I got to say about that, bro. Yeah. Yes, sir. And we got Brother Frank in the house, Foxtrot Sierra podcast, man. What's going on? I'll be over there in a couple weeks. We're gonna be talking about the Red Tails, bro. Like, he does a historical podcast, talks about war, a lot of World War II, World War I, and stuff like that, historical events with in warfare. And I'm gonna be over there. We're gonna be talking about the Red Tails. We're gonna be talking about the African American pilots, Tuskegee Airmen who served in World War II and in other conflicts after. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be good. And yeah, man, super chats work, bro. I think the super chats work unless YouTube turned it off. Super chat should be working. But yeah, shout out to you, bro. I look forward to that. I can't wait. And you guys definitely want to hopefully come check that out. It'll be a late one because I'm gonna do the show, and then after I do my show, I'm gonna jump on his. So it'll probably be like 8:00 Eastern Standard Time when we do it. And it's coming up I think in a week or so, bro. Yo, Brother Frank, what's the date, man? Drop the date in there. I don't want to say the wrong date because I got a bunch of dates swirling in my head, but I know it's coming up. Drop the date in the chat, man, so people will know, and maybe they can come over and support us over there talking war stuff. So yeah, I hope the super chats work. If they don't, that means YouTube is really mad at me on this episode. You ain't getting nothing. So yeah, let's finish out this video, which was a great video, Stoic Finance. Oops.
Video has opened your eyes at all, I seriously recommend email newsletter Stoic Markets, which is dedicated to exposing the truth and doing so without any kind of censorship. I founded it, I run it, I write it every week. And so if this video has opened your eyes at all, I seriously recommend you give it a chance. You can always unsubscribe in the future, no questions asked, and it's 100% free. And if you want to know how I actually find this stuff out, how I research the markets, how I work out what's happening now and what's going to happen next, then you can check out Stoic Financial Freedom. You can literally look at my previous videos exposing Blackstone back in 2022, predicting this would happen while no one else saw a thing coming. Now, Stoic Financial Freedom is a course and framework dedicated to giving back to this community and teaching you to invest and see the market.
Definitely check him out, y'all.
Access to over 50 individual lessons revealing to you how the world really works, how markets and risk really determine your wealth, but most importantly, how financial stoicism solves all these problems. And as a special thank you for helping me build Stoic Finance all these years, I've put together a condensed version of the course specifically tailored to.
And I'm definitely going to check that out, man. I mean, he has a lot of content. I'm going to go watch
thank you
stuff.
And ensure you're getting the best deal possible. So if you want to learn more about Stoic Financial Freedom or Stoic Markets, check the link down below. If you just want to watch another video exposing BlackRock, then click here.
That was a good video, y'all. And like I said, we were able to pull up a lot of that stuff, man. Everything he spoke on, we were able to pull up. And there's some more stuff we're going to pull up too in a second. But hey, shout out to Brother Frank Sonora, man, the Foxtrot Sierra podcast, man. Shout out to you, bro. $14 super chat, man. Let's go. Hit the like button. 26 April is the show. 26 April, y'all. Make sure y'all come through if you can. It'll be like I said, probably 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, because I'm on every day at 6. So I'm gonna jump over there as soon as I'm done. And we're gonna get into it, man. So thanks again, bro. I really appreciate that. And this is the Don DeMarco. I had to put this on here. Sister Candace made me do it. And that's for you, bro. Brother Pretty just to subscribe over there, Stoic Finance, man. Yeah, check it. He got some good stuff over there, y'all. He has some good stuff over there. So I definitely want to I wanted to go over a couple other things, man. Like we talked about the thing with the kids, right? We saw that. We talked about the money, like the $70 billion and all that. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. And here, two other things. And this is from Reuters. So I'm gonna pull this up. And this is about people getting their money out of that fund. Right? So it's folks trying to get their money out of that fund. And again, thanks for rocking out with me, y'all. I really appreciate it. I'll make sure we're still broadcasting and stuff over there. Yep, looks like we are. So this is Yahoo. I'm sorry, this ain't Yahoo News. This is here. This is Reuters. This is March 3rd of this year. Blackstone defaults on the Nordic mortgage-backed bond. And so this is the bond he was talking about, right? We're not going to read the whole thing, but right off the first line, Blackstone has defaulted on a 531 million euro, which is $562.5 million bond backed by the portfolio of offices and stores owned by a Finnish company, Sponda Oy, as rising interest rates hit European property values, right? So this is their thing, man. This is their thing. The debt relates to a small portion of that portfolio. We are disappointed that the servicer is not advanced our proposal, which means give us a pass. Blackstone says. So Blackstone didn't pay it. They were late. The bond, which is underwritten by Citigroup and Morgan Stanley, was originally secured against the 63 mostly office buildings in Finland, but Blackstone has sold off about 16 buildings to pay down nearly half of the note, which now has an outstanding balance of 297.1 million euros, according to Fitch Ratings. So look, they're having trouble paying stuff, bro. Dude wasn't lying. They're having problem paying stuff. Blackstone's 71 billion unlisted real estate income trust, the BREIT, has also been in hot water. On Wednesday, the BREIT said it was forced to limit withdrawals for the fourth straight month. So again, he said that, right? It was like, yo, they're not letting people take the money out. Right? The default is there. And then here's another one. So again, it's like, you look at dude, you can tell that the guy is definitely not a fan of Blackstone or big business, but he ain't lying about nothing. Right? So here it is right here. This was March 1st. Reuters, Blackstone blocked investor withdrawals from $71 billion REIT in February. This is, man, ain't nobody playing. Like the dude telling the truth. Right? Blackstone said on Wednesday it had blocked investors from cashing out their investments at its $71 billion real estate income trust. That's the REIT, as the private equity firm continues to grapple with a flurry of redemption requests, right? People wanting their money out. Right, the BREIT said it fulfilled redemption requests of $1.4 billion in February, which represents only 35% of the approximately $3.9 billion in total withdrawal requests for the month. $3.9 billion of people wanting their money back, y'all. And they wouldn't let them get it all. The firm said in a letter to investors, the total BREIT redemption requests in February were 26% lower than approximately the $5.3 billion reached in January, the firm said. While gross redemptions for February are consistent with prior management commentary, the overreaching data continues to align with our view around decelerating rental-oriented product organic growth broadly. Right, and this came from Credit Suisse, who, as we know, they were in trouble too. They had to be bailed out. Right. So, and Credit Suisse downgraded its rating of Blackstone stock to underperform in November, partly because of the rise in investor redemptions from the BREIT. Blackstone shares were down 0.25% at $90.57 a share in the afternoon train on Wednesday, right? So that was, where was that date? Here it is, right? That was so this article was written on March 1st of this year. This year? Yeah, March 1st of this year, y'all. Beginning of last month, bro. So they're not letting people take money out. They've been blocking investors from withdrawing since November of last year. Requests hit a present 5% net asset value on BREIT, which is marketed at a mostly high net worth mostly high net worth individuals, right? So these people were not allowed to take their money. I was trying to see how much they let them take out. Now they didn't say how much they let them take out. I think they were being held to a percentage. They can only take out a certain percentage. So looks like that part was true too. Right? They weren't letting people take their money out. Right? So there's one last person I wanted to bring, not person, but one last YouTuber who is a finance guy. Again, I don't know who this person is. Felix and Friends. They put out a quick, like 4-minute video. The guy's just kind of talking about the business. He said some stuff. So he's not doom and gloom. This guy actually was like, hey, everything looks pretty good, and he's looking forward to this recession. So let me pull dude up, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But again, like, hey, y'all, this isn't my world. Right? This isn't my world. So when I bring these things up, I'm just bringing it up so we can talk about it. So, you know what I mean? We can look at it and see what's going on and try to figure things out. And a lot of folks are like, well, look, man, I ain't investing at that level and this and that. You know, well, okay, but these things, these little things affect the big picture. Trust me, if Blackstone goes under, that's going to shake the whole the financial system at its core. We already know that JP Morgan Chase is in deep, right? We just read a second ago, Citigroup underwrote a lot of their stuff. So you got that. So, and they're talking about stuff, they're defaulting on stuff over there in Europe. You know what I mean? Over there in Europe. I appreciate you, bro. You know what I mean? Brother Doug with the $5 super sticker. I truly appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. But we're just trying to make this happen, bro. Like, so let's check out this cat right here. Let's listen to what he has to say. Just gonna be a couple minutes and we're gonna wrap this up.
Winston and Felix here. Do you remember Blackstone, the private equity company whose largest real estate fund isn't returning money to investors? Well, they've just raised $30 billion for the new largest real estate fund. And it just goes to show how the funds, Wall Street and private equity always makes money. Because you know what?
And remember, old boy was saying in the video, the previous video, they were trying to raise 10 billion. They raised way more than that. They were able to raise more than that. And this guy is saying that they raised that money so they can be prepared for what's about to happen. So let's check this out.
The new fund's going to do? The new fund's going to buy distressed assets in real estate. They're going to profit from the downturn in real estate. So that's exactly what we're seeing the private equity guys doing. Private equity is buying the debt of the companies that they lend money to, that they're financing, they're invested in, because the banks, since the Silicon Valley bank collapse, don't want that debt on their books anymore. And they're selling it, like Citrix. If you ever worked in a large company, you probably use Citrix. It's like a cloud sort of software company. They have bought Citrix debt at 79 cents on the dollar.
I wish I understood how this works. These cats are making hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. They getting on, bro. They getting on. And dude, I wonder, I mean, okay, this is me putting my tinfoil hat on. Are they purposely pushing the market certain ways and messing it up so it can all go down to nothing and they can buy it for pennies on the dollar and then start the whole circle over again? Is that what they're doing? If they are, man, that's gangster.
So they're essentially making 21% return instantly, plus that debt was also paying 9%. So it's a pretty good deal for Citrix, who now no longer have to pay that. Well, they still have to pay that debt. They have to pay 9% now to the company that essentially owns them, the private equity fund. So they're getting like, I don't know, 17% return a year on that investment, something like that. And it just goes to show that there is always money to be made in
17% a year. 17%. And the type of money they talking about, bro. Oh my goodness.
all markets, especially in recessions, especially in turmoils. That's where the really big profits come in. For me, 2008 global financial crisis was the most profitable time ever. So you could say maybe I'm looking forward to another recession, but you have to know how to spot the patterns so you know what to do.
Dude killing it. And he's walking around in Monaco, in case anybody's wondering. He's walking around Monaco. I've never been to Monaco. I have friends who have been there. I'll tell you this about Monaco. Ain't no such thing as a broke dude walking around Monaco. I tell you that. I tell you that, bro. This man papered up. And what did he say? I want a recession. That's where I make my money. Talking about 08. He was like, I got big. He got fat in 08. Hey, y'all. Like I said, man, it's time to wake up, people. Time to wake up, man. I'm trying to get in with the 1%. I'm trying to learn. Thank goodness for YouTube and the internet. I'm trying to learn. I suggest y'all do the same. I ain't got to have $100 million, man. I ain't got to have that. You know what I'm saying? I'll be cool with a nice little, you know what I'm saying? Give me a sweet little 10 million, bro. I'm good. That's what I'm trying to get to. Let me get a quick little 10. I'm straight. You can have that 100 million, 500, 700 million. You can have that 30 billion. You can have that. Just let me get my little 10 over here. And we'll be fine. Maybe that's my problem. I ain't thinking big enough, huh? I ain't thinking big enough. Man, this is crazy, y'all. So let's stay on top of this. Let's definitely stay on top of this. I know I'm going to stay on top of it. You know what I mean? Brother Doug, he's like, no doubt, bro. I'm going to stay on top of this, man. I'm going to continue to network. I'm going to continue to sit down with my folks, not just on the financial stuff, but also on the political stuff. I got a friend of a friend who is, he's one of those people behind the scenes. Let's call him the puppet master, right? He is truly the puppet master. He controls both sides, Republicans, Democrats. It doesn't have extreme liberals, MAGA, doesn't matter. They all answer to him. And I'm this close to setting up a meeting with him. You'll never see him on camera. I'm not even asking him to do that, but I just want to sit in a room with him and talk. And I'm going to ask him, who do we need to be watching? Who are the Democrats going to put forth as, you know, their nominee for the White House? I really hope it's not Biden. You know what I mean? I definitely hope it's not Newsom. Same thing on the Republican side. Like, who's going to wind up on the top of the tickets, on both tickets? I want to talk about the Clarence Thomas thing. How regular is that? You know what I mean? I want to sit down with the puppet master, right? And he's going to tell me. He's this close to the meeting, y'all. This close to the meeting. So give me a couple more months, and I'll start doing shows, and I will share with you guys what the puppet master, or who the puppet master told me to watch, and what, you know what I mean, what's going to happen with the money and this and that. I'm definitely going to ask him about this thing with Blackstone and, you know, some other financial entities out there. I'm asking him about the bank. So y'all stay close. Stay close. I'm going to get that information. Told you I'm plugged in with the 1%. I'm trying to get on. I'm going to need a lot more than 10 million. I realize that, but I think 10 million is a good start. 10 million is a good start. It'll get me, you know what I mean? It'll get me on their radar. And then from there, I can just grow it. Keep an eye on real estate, y'all. See what's going on in real estate. There's about to be blood in the streets for real. And all the big money people say the same thing. If you can move on it, like the guy just said in the video we just watched, if you can move on it, there's money to be made. You know what I mean? So the guys like Felix and friends, like he was saying, oh wait, he made a killing. So there's money out there for us too, like for the regular folks, especially us former military people. Get out there, be ready. You might be able to jump on some property that's going to be super, super duper, extremely cheap. And then it's all going to come back so you can set your kids up. You know what I mean? You might be able to jump on some businesses. You might be able to jump on a strip mall or something like that. Sit down with your friends, maybe consider maybe get some investor groups together, gather up your cash and sit on it and just wait for an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm networking my butt off. I'm trying to get to the next level. Patrick Beck Davis says during times like this, you should put a zero behind your net worth. This is when you make your money. You should be able to add a zero to your net worth. Right? So if you're 100,000 there, bro, you should add a zero to that. Get you up into the M's. Right? So that's all I'm saying. I want to put that bug in y'all ear. Brother Cars Car, good show, DL. Saint, wishing you a great evening. Same to you, brother. Thank you almost always for your support, your comments. Brother Doug, thank you as well. Brother Pitney, everybody who was here. Don't forget, April 26th. April 26th, we're going to have a collab, bro. I'm going to be on the Foxtrot Sierra podcast. We're going to be talking about World War II. And I'm telling you guys, it's history, man. When they whoever said those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it was brilliant. I don't know who said that. I'm gonna have to look that up. Right? But man, they ain't never lied. They ain't never lied. So we're gonna be talking about history. We're gonna be talking about the Tuskegee Airmen, the Red Tails. We're gonna be talking about their exploits in World War II, what they went through, what they did, some of their accomplishments. It's gonna be a good conversation. April 26th. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Foxtrot Sierra podcast, man. I hope y'all can come over and check us out. Thanks for rocking with me. This was fun. Y'all know I love rocking with y'all. I'll be back tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Y'all know it every day, Monday through Friday, 6 o'clock. And then on weekends, we do Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m. Not quite sure what we're going to be talking about. Brother Penny said, oh, that was Winston who said that. Winston Churchill said that. That's what's up. That's what's up. See, I rock with smart folks, man. Rock with smart folks, man. That's y'all push me to be better. That's why I love that, man. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, I don't know. We might do the show on how to deal with hateful people. We might. I don't know. There's some other things out here I want to talk about. So we'll see. Just be looking for the thumbnail. I will be on 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. We're going to talk about some. I hope y'all enjoyed this show. I enjoy rocking with y'all, man. I'm DL Saint. This is DL Saint. I Really Want to Know podcast.
Darn, that's the end.
Peace.